More praised than presidents, more admired than astronauts, more revered than reverence. The extreme skier is the most exalted of all mankind. One would think that the road to such high regard would be pitted with countless hours of training and sacrifice. But as you will soon discover, extreme skiing can be easy as A, B, C. The first thing any extreme skier must possess is altitude. For altitude is a scale where high is fit and low is fat. It is a scale that elevates mountain goats above prairie dogs and extreme skiers above farmers.
Get off of my land, boy!
Altitude is best achieved not by plane or bus, but step by step. There are few sights more beautiful or inspiring than that of the young extreme skier taking his first upward steps in altitude. Strolling above the clouds, he becomes alive and relaxed. At this pinnacle of heights, he snubs his nose at acrophobic birds and savors the oxygen-thin air. The euphoric feeling altitude induces allows him to hurl himself down the mountain without a care in the world. The extreme skier must choose his descent carefully to make the most of the altitude he has attained. There are numerous types of descents, but the quickest and most exhilarating by far is the ski the fall line. The fall line is an imaginary line along which an object would fall down a mountain if released from its peak. As the extreme skier enters and begins to follow this line, he is grabbing a hold of the snowy tail of a comet on a collision course with fame and fortune. Altitude may elevate the extreme skier physically above the human race, but it is his brain that elevates him mentally. The brain of the extreme skier is far more evolved than that of ordinary man. Small and compact, it is less cumbersome than the average brain, allowing room inside the skier's skull for insulation. Several protective layers of mucus act as this insulation, protecting the brain from extreme cold. The thickness of these mucus layers can be easily controlled to prevent the brain's core temperature from becoming too hot or too cold. The most extreme of extreme skiers have the mucus layers in their brain surgically removed through a procedure called bastectomy. Once the operation is complete, the skier's brain is allowed to rattle freely, generating a constant metronome-like rhythm by which a skier's turns become groovy and melodious. Besides being compact in size, the extreme skier's brain is also highly efficient. The overhanging and most important portion of the brain, called the cerebral cornus, controls speech and coordination. The cerebral cornus is capable of taking complex words and abbreviating them to 3 letters. For example, the word powder is processed through the cerebral cornus and abbreviated POW. Likewise, the word radical becomes RAD, and the alphabet becomes ABC. It is a proud parent who hears his or her son or daughter cry out their first abbreviated word.
Oh, man. Rad, dude.
Complex motor skills, such as the back scratch, spread eagle, and double daffy, would be impossible without the cerebral cornus. Yes, marvel at the eloquent gestures and speech of the extreme skier. His brain truly holds an avalanche of capabilities. Cinema. Within the brain of the extreme skier lies the answers to many of life's most difficult questions. For instance, if a skier falls in the forest and no one sees or hears him, who's to say whether he fell or not? To prove he did not fall, the extreme skier must call upon the third and final key to extreme skiing success, called cinema. Through cinema, every action of the extreme skier is recorded on film, and there's no question as to his greatness. Success in cinema, however, does not come from greatness alone. It requires the extreme skier clarify his or her own individuality or cinematic cool. To do this, the extreme skier must first choose a hairstyle that makes the statement, "I am cool." Hairstyles that achieve this best resemble frozen foods, such as the bomb pop, the fish stick, and the chocolate swirl. There is no image that embodies the notion of cinematic cool more than that of the rich and mysterious movie star who hides himself behind a dark pair of trendy sunglasses. Eyewear protects the extreme skier's eyes from the sun's glare, as well as makes him look simply smashing. There are very many varieties of shades on the market, but the most popular are the spoon-shaped. They reflect both the sun and today's hippest fashions. Like one-humped dromedaries roaming drifting white deserts, extreme skiers cart backpacks carrying unknown goods and supplies. What is in these packs has remained a mystery for centuries. Just recently, remains of backpacks found high in the Himalayas have revealed the true content of the extreme skier's Gore-Tex hump. The most valued, however, of all the items discovered is a document listing the holy trinity of skiing. Christened the ABCs of extreme skiing, it reveals how simple extreme skiing really is.